Hi again, Mark here from Talkingbass. This week we had the pleasure of interviewing the great Frank Bello of Anthrax here on the channel. So for this lesson, I'm going to work through one of Frank's most popular lines, the bass solo from the song Got the Time from the Persistence of Time album. As always, the lesson material can be found over at the Talkingbass website, so just click the link in the info below to play along to the drum track. Then be sure to check out the lesson map where you'll find over 450 free bass lessons on every topic imaginable, all systemized for ease of navigation. Then you can also sign up to the free membership to gain access to all the cool features and resources and downloads like the 25 Bass Riff Challenge and the Scale Reference Manual ebook. Okay, let's have a listen to this bass solo. It comes in just after the guitar solo, it's played at 258 beats per minute, and it sounds like this. So let's have a look at this solo. Now, just in case you didn't know, Got the Time is actually a cover of the original by Joe Jackson, one of my favourite songwriters, and that original features another amazing bass player in the shape of Graham Maybe. So if you haven't checked out any of Graham's bass playing, I would highly recommend any of Joe Jackson's albums. But back to Anthrax. This tune is in B-flat minor, and the solo starts out with a little groove pattern that sounds like this. Okay, so we're just on an A flat to a B flat there, 4th fret to the 6th fret of the E string. So I'm playing that first A flat there and then hammering on to the B flat of the 6th fret. Okay, so you pick the first note, hammer on, and then you pick every other note. We then take that same line and we just move it up onto the D string. So we're actually playing it here at the G flat to the A flat. Again, 4th to the 6th fret. So pick the note, hammer on, and then pick everything else. So, okay, so. Now, the next line is one that can be pretty confusing when it comes to transcribing it. And I have seen people play it just as a slide, starting at the A flat there at the 6th fret of the D string, working up, and then playing that D flat up there at the, what's that, the 18th fret of the G string. So, you know, that's one way to do it. But when you actually listen to what he's playing on the original, you can hear that he's kind of glissing off notes. So we've got, he does slide up at the end, but he just kind of hit notes as he's coming up. So what I've done is kind of transcribed it as these 3 notes and then a slide up. Okay, so we've got the A flat there at the 6th fret of the D string, the B flat at the 8th fret of the D string, and the C natural at the 10th fret of the D string, and then kind of just kind of sliding in and then down off them. So I play the first note and then kind of slide down, then slide up to the next one, which is the B flat at the 8th fret. Again, come down just a little bit, and then up to the C, and then up we come. Okay, so you can kind of hear those three notes being kind of accented as he moves up. Now, I don't think he was necessarily thinking, okay, well, I'm going to hit the A flat, the B flat, and then the C naturally. I don't think he was doing that at all. He kind of just, you know, did a bit of a gliss up the neck and hit a few notes as he went. I mean, I might be wrong. He might have been going for them, but, you know, it does sound like he's just kind of like, you know, creating this kind of wiggle as he comes up. But if you want to kind of make it sound a little bit more like the original than just, you know, than that, then that's probably one way to do it. For the next part of the solo, we have this descending pentatonic kind of line, which sounds like this. Okay, so each note there, I'll just work through the notes. We've got the D flat at the 6th fret of the G string. We've got the B flat and the A flat there, 8th fret and 6th fret on the D string. And then the F natural at the 8th fret of the A string. And we played this pattern on each one. Okay, so it's just an eighth note pattern. Remember, this is at nearly 260 beats per minute. So you just listen to that rhythm and get that. If you can read, it's all down there on the music as well, so. Okay, now one thing that you might notice that I have noticed him do on clinics, and you can kind of hear it on the original, is that when he plays that first one, when he gets to the end of it, he actually kind of pulls off down to an open string briefly as just a little ghost note. So you don't really, you know, hear it as a defined note when he's actually playing it at that speed, but it is there just to kind of give it a little bit more momentum. So you can hear there that just to lead in on the next one. So you can hear that that's quite a dissonant note, the G natural, you know, or the open string, but, you know, at speed it doesn't matter. Okay, now we get down to this bottom part that sounds like this. Okay, so we've got the A flat to the B flat there, 4th fret to the 6th fret on the E string. So it's just a repeat of the, that rhythm, so. And then we hit the open E string, okay? Now on the original, it could be that he's playing it hard with the fingers or slapping it. You know, on the video you can kind of see him hitting it with the downward thumb. You know, either way, it doesn't really matter. You know, most of the time live, you'll see him just hitting it hard with the fingers. So, you know, there it is. Then we hit the B flat at the 6th fret of the E string. And then we gliss, we slide up. You hold for a beat or two, and then slide up, and then again hit that open E. Okay, hitting it nice and strong so you get that snap in there. So, okay, so. And finally, we get to that snappy little groove section that sounds like this. Okay, so we've got the A flat to the B flat there, 6th fret to the 8th fret on the D string, pick the first note and then hammer on. And in terms of the fingering, I'm using the 1st and 4th fingers here, so index and pinky. And then we play the D flat at the 6th fret of the G string. So that's that first little pentatonic line. And then we move up 2 frets, a whole step, to B flat to C natural. So that's the 8th fret to the 10th fret. Pick the first note, hammer on, again index to pinky. And then you just do a bit of joint barring to catch the F natural at the 10th fret of the G string. I mean, you can play it with the 1st and 3rd finger as well. You'll notice that Frank actually does play this with index and pinky. So you can play it with the 1st and 3rd fingers, but it's just a lot cleaner to play it with the 1st and 4th. Okay? Then we come down to that little groovy section down on the bottom, which is the thing that we played right at the beginning in the first bar. A flat to B flat, 4th to 6th fret on the E string, pick the first note, hammer on, and then pick all the rest of the notes. Okay, so. Now, I'm picking all of that, and Frank Bello does pick it most of the time. If you look at any of his live stuff or his clinics, you'll see him picking it. But there are a few instances where you see him actually playing it like this. So he's kind of playing this kind of weird slap pop technique where for the first, on the D string there, he's kind of popping with the thumb. And then popping with the first finger. So he's not using slap and pop technique, he's actually popping both of them, so with thumb and first finger. And then slapping for the bottom part. Okay, now that's actually quite tricky to do because you've got to pluck with that thumb and then you've got to switch round to come back down onto this bottom part. So, you know, I can understand why he didn't do it live, and also it probably has a lot more body to the sound when you're playing live. In the studio, you can do all kinds of things with it to make it sound, you can crank it up a little bit. But live, cutting through that mix, I think that's why he now plays just a lot more consistency and you don't have that little snappy kind of sound. It just wouldn't cut through. A lot more mids there when you're playing, okay? So you can try it like that. You can even try it with just general slap pop technique. You know, that's possible. That's probably the easiest way to play it. But yeah, Frank normally plays it with fingers. So he plays that 6 times, then drops back down into the opening groove, which is played 6 times, and then it all just moves back with a few stabs back into the chorus. But, you know, for this lesson, we're just covering the solo. So really, you just need to know that you need to play that 6 times. And that's it, that's a solo. So let's try all of that slowly. And so on. So start out slowly, just getting it under your fingers. Don't worry about metronomes or practice tracks to begin with. Then just gradually build up speed, and eventually you can try with the practice track. Okay, so that's got the time. Give me a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for weekly video releases. Also check out our interview with Frank Bello on this channel. The time and tracks are all there over at the Talkingbass website, so go get practicing, and I'll see you next week.